Today we are reviewing fraction operations, so please copy down the SBI at the top of your page in your math notebook. The student will solve problems that involve the estimation of fractions using the operations of addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. This will be a two-part video. We will do addition and subtraction in the first video and multiplication and the division in the second video. So go ahead and pause the video and copy down the SBI. First, we are looking at adding mixed numbers. Just as you can add whole numbers and add fractions, you can add mixed numbers. To add mixed numbers, you add the whole numbers, then you add the fractions, and then you put the two parts together. If the sum of the fractions is an improper fraction, you may need to rewrite it as a mixed number and add the whole number parts together. In our example here, they're adding 1 1/2 plus 3 5/6. Write the sum as a whole or mixed number in lowest terms. So the first step is to rewrite the fractions using their least common denominator, or LCD, which is the number 6. So 1 1/2 becomes 1 3/6. 3 5/6 is already in 6, so it stays as it is, and it's just moved over so the problem stays together. Then they added the whole numbers, so 1 plus 3 is 4. Then they added the fractions. 3/6 plus 5/6 is 8/6. 8/6 is an improper fraction, so it has to be rewritten as a mixed number. So it becomes 1 2/6. That is then added back to the whole, so we get 5 2/6. We have to simplify fractions because they're always put in lowest terms, so 5 2/6 becomes 5 1/3. So 1 1/2 plus 3 5/6 equals 5 1/3. All right, for our two problems here, we have 6 1/4 plus 7 5/6. So the first thing we need to do is find a common denominator. We know the least common denominator for 4 and 6 is going to be 12. So 6 1/4 is going to become 6 3/12. Seven 5/6 is going to become 7 10/12. Next, we're going to add the whole numbers, so 6 plus 7 is 13. And then we're going to add the fractions, so 3/12 plus 10/12 is 13/12. (13/12) is an improper fraction, so we need to rename it as a mixed number, so it becomes 1 1/12. Then we're going to add back in the whole number 13. So for a final answer, we get 14 1/12. Our second problem, we have 9 2/9 plus 7 2/3. So the least common denominator of those two fractions is going to be 9. Which means we do not have to change the first fraction at all. Seven 2/3 needs to go up to 9ths, so it's going to become 7 6/9. Now we're going to add the whole numbers. 9 plus 7 is 16. And 2/9 plus 6/9 is 8/9. The fraction is not improper, so we do not have to regroup it, and it can't be simplified. So our final answer is 16 8/9. Next, we're looking at subtracting mixed numbers. So our example problem here is 8 1/3 minus 2 5/6. We need to write the answer as a whole or mixed number in lowest terms. First, we need to find a common denominator. So again, it's going to be 6. So 8 1/3 becomes 8 2/6, and 2 5/6 stays as it is. Now, because we cannot subtract 5/6 from 2/6, we have to rename 8 2/6. So we're going to borrow from this 8 and take 1 away, becomes a 7. The 1 we then turn into a fraction, so it's going to be 6/6. since that's the denominator we're using. And we have to add it back to the fraction piece we already had. So 8 and 2 6 becomes 7 and 8 6. Now we can subtract. 7 minus 2 is 5. 8 6 minus 5 6 is 3 6. We always need to write it in lowest terms, so 5 and 3 6 becomes 5 and 1/2. For the try it here, we need to subtract and write each difference as a whole or mixed number in lowest terms. So the first thing here, we look, the denominators are the same, so we don't have to worry about that. The next thing is we look at the fractions. We can't take away 3/5 from 1/5, so we're going to need to rename 7 and 1/5. So we borrow 1 from the 7, it becomes 6, and we turn that 1 into 5/5. We're going to add it back to the 1/5 we already had. So 7 and 1/5 becomes 6 and 6/5. Then we're going to subtract the whole number. So 6 minus 2 is 4. Then we're going to subtract the fraction. 6/5 minus 3/5 is 3/5. Then we're going to write the difference. We get 4 and 3/5 as our answer. Continuing on, we're going to look at problem K. So we have 10 and 5/9 minus 6 and 2/3. So the first thing we need to do is look at it and go, okay, we need a common denominator. It's going to be 9. That'll be the least common denominator. So 10 and 5/9 stays as it is, and 6 and 2/3 becomes 6 and 6/9. All right, looking at our problem there, we know we have a problem in the fractions because we can't take away 6/9 from 5/9. So we're going to have to borrow from the 10. So we're going to take 1 away from that, turning it into 9. And then we take that 1 whole that we borrowed and turn it into 9/9, and we're going to add it to the 5/9 to get 14/9. Then we're just going to bring over the 6 and 6/9. Now we can subtract the whole numbers. 9 minus 6 is 3. And then 14/9 minus 6/9 gets us 8/9, which cannot be simplified. So our final answer is 3 and 8/9. All right, problem L. Right away we know we have a problem because all we have is a whole number. So we're going to have to change it into a mixed number. So we're going to borrow 1 and turn it into 11 and 5/5. Then we're just going to bring down our 5 and 3/5. Then we subtract our whole numbers. 11 minus 5 is 6. And then we're going to subtract our fractions. 5/5 minus 3/5 is 2/5. All right, make sure you have that copied down, and then please watch the next video, which will look at multiplication and division of fractions.